Previously on our program.
Dedication to achievement can overcome self-doubt and cultivate excellence. I stand taller to glimpse the horizon of my possibilities for having witnessed the accomplishment and splendor and promise of his.
Portfolio career employment, this entrepreneurial aurora avis, ultimately exists as a mindset that charts a course straight for the outer limits of possibility, daring us to defy the sensible and yield the improbable. Your time has come. Your starship has arrived.
No greater lesson have I taken from him than his fierce loyalty to possibility and perseverance. As such, I am left with this to consider. Will I leave my children with this same lofty dedication to see more through the mind's eye and less through a prism of what might have been? Welcome to An Uncommon Way Forward. Please join us, along with our invited guest contributors, as they share their unique and respected insights on how to live well, dream big, and love what you do.
A couple other jobs. I'm sure we're going to talk more about the different types of careers that I thought I could do, how that's led to what I'm currently doing, which is real estate. So now I'm back in my hometown of Albany. I'm working as a real estate agent for Coldwell Banker Prime Properties. It's awesome. I love it. I get to do things like this, like do this podcast and talk to all sorts of folks.
This is your host, Peter Willert. The voice you have just heard is that of Jim Kim from Albany, New York. Jim, welcome to An Uncommon Way Forward.
Thank you, Peter. It's great to be here.
For our audience and everybody out there listening, you and I have had a chance to talk a number of different times after having shared some interesting and hopefully some compelling information around diversifying careers and all that sort of thing. So you've agreed to come on and talk, and I'm excited about it, to talk about what you've done over your life and how you've been able to express yourself with the kinds of different things you've done. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Let people out there know who you are and what you're all about.
Sure. So my name is Jim Kim, and I am originally from Albany, New York. That's actually where I'm calling in from now. I've moved back to Albany. I was in the Boston area for 15 plus years, where I worked and went to school and worked in a number of jobs in sales, marketing, and some weird stuff. I was also a cook. A couple other jobs. I'm sure we're going to talk more about the different types of careers that I thought I could do, how that's led to what I'm currently doing, which is real estate. So now I'm back in my hometown of Albany. I'm working as a real estate agent for Coldwell Banker Prime Properties. It's awesome. I love it. I get to do things like this, like do this podcast and talk to all sorts of folks and see how I can help them to achieve their real estate goals. And I've been working in both commercial as well as residential real estate and just having a blast helping entrepreneurs to find new commercial space if they're opening a restaurant, or maybe they're trying to sell their current business, such as an auto garage, auto mechanic garage, and they want to retire. I help them achieve their goals, or obviously if they want to buy a house or sell their house, I can help them achieve that goal as well.
Thinking about what you're doing at your age, you and I talked, and I know that my first podcast talked about this portfolio career concept that I've written about and have done workshops on and really spent a lot of my time with. And your unique approach to your career at your age, being in the mid-30s like you are, oftentimes when we think about people picking up odd kinds of or diversified kind of careers, it's sometimes usually late in life, and it's certainly not for you. And that's what really excited me when we had a chance to meet you over the phone. I haven't personally met you, but over the phone talked about a lot of the things you're doing. Mm-hmm. And that really fits very, very nicely into my own Uncommon Way Forward, the approach that I'm taking with my workshops and here with my podcast and a lot of the work that I've done with the people I've worked with. So it's really exciting to see you with the kind of passion and excitement you have for the kinds of things that you're doing as well. Suggested podcast title, it's From Cooking Shrimp to Selling Buildings, The Unlikely Journey of Jim Kim, Real Estate Agent, which I absolutely love.
Thank you.
And I have to tell you, Jim, I am so pleased to hear people out there who are thinking so creatively about their careers, and they absolutely need to. And it sort of leads us then to talk about really the nature of the discussion we're going to have tonight, which is really talking about what you thought and what you've written. And let me share a couple of the things you've written here for me in preparation for this so everybody understands. You've said the days of job stability and a solid middle-class life are long gone, contrary to what the media or anyone else is telling you. It's on you to create your own career path that utilizes past experiences with new challenges. And everyone has the potential to be an entrepreneur. And you've also stated, talking about how to create your own business using past experiences and knowledge and things like that. What are the kinds of questions you think people out there should be asking themselves?
Yeah, I mean, there are a ton of questions they should be asking themselves. And the more questions you ask, the more answers you come up with. And really the only way to find those answers is through experience. You can ask plenty of people, or you can ask yourself, or ask me, or ask anybody. But really, in the end, I found that most people, you can tell them all day what the right path they should do in life, or what the truth is, or how they should do things. But that's one thing, and whether they listen to you or not is another. But people put more stock into that which they realize for themselves, as opposed to what you tell them. So the only way to realize for yourself is by doing things and by having the experiences and by seeking out knowledge. And that really is my mission, and why I'm doing and the things that I'm doing, and why I'm on, having these conversations like we're having is to share that knowledge that I've learned and share that truth with others, because there's a lot of deception, a whole lot of, ways that people think might be the way to do good things in their life, or what they think could be a good life. But really, I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth is, the only way you can learn anything is through the experience. And I think by sharing my experiences, that'll encourage more people to seek out new experiences and to expand their realm of knowledge, which will only benefit you in the end.
Do you have an ultimate vision for yourself? And in fact, I write, when I've written, and what I start with my program specifically is what I call your life's work vision, as being the very, very center of this portfolio career employment that I've been involved with so much. But it's really that first look at your life's work vision that has to start it all. Do you have an ultimate vision, and what does it look like?
Yeah, my ultimate vision looks like one where everyone, regardless of who you are, regardless of race or background, or really who your family is, or any of that, everyone has an opportunity to be successful. The thing is, most people choose not to pursue that opportunity. They choose for what they think is good enough, is the norm, is the average, is the middle, as in the middle class. But what I found, and this is from my own experiences, because I've failed a lot in my life, so I found that if you just set your sights just a couple degrees north of that and aim for greatness.
I know that you've also written, you talk about taking your daily affirmations and keeping focused on your goals. I oftentimes consider myself as a person interested in the creative career strategies and the kinds of opportunities that can bring to us over time. So I think from that standpoint, it sort of lays the groundwork for us to talk a little bit more about some of the things I think you've identified for me that you'd like to share with respect to your experiences. And we'll do that when we return from a break in just a few moments.
An Uncommon Way Forward is a creation of the John Anthony George Foundation, a fully recognized 501c3 devoted to providing educational and youth sports opportunities to the underserved among us. Support for our foundation's efforts and this program, in part, is made possible through the kindness of our generous benefactors. Donations in any amount are truly welcome. Simply visit with us at www.anuncommonwayforward.blogspot.com to learn more about us and to select the Donate button with your support. Thank you for considering benefaction of our efforts, and enjoy the rest of the program.
And again, we are joined by Jim Kim. And Jim, thanks again for sort of setting the table for us. Yes, also asked the question of spending time online, social media, reading blogs, and what's been your experience with that as being part of your creative approach?
I had a really great sales mentor who's actually no longer with us. He passed away last year. His name is Stan Ballou, and he's you can Google him, Stan Mr. Fantastic Ballou. We can include a link probably on this and maybe in the description if people are interested in checking him out in the show notes. But so Stan Ballou was my sales mentor. How we connected was I actually ordered a sales book from another sales genius, Mike Brooks.
Okay.
This is back when I was working in inside sales for software companies. So I was reading every how to sell, how to be successful in sales book that was out there, every blog, watching videos, going to seminars. I was really becoming a student of sales because I wanted to be successful as a salesperson and earn a high income and achieve my dreams. That was my goal when I worked in sales. And came across Stan because when I bought that book by Mike Brooks, which I think was his telephone scripts book, we can include a link to that as well. When I purchased that online, it came with a bunch of bonuses, which was awesome, which included other ebooks or, in this case, a 1-hour phone consultation with Stan Ballou. I checked him out. It was at stanballou.com, and he had a whole bunch of really great content and videos. And in that phone consultation, Stan recommended if I wanted to be truly successful in sales, I need to study up, skill up in everything sales, how to do things like prospecting, make cold calls, do follow-up, do presentations. I like to listen to motivational recordings as I'm getting ready, as I'm making breakfast, and as I'm commuting to work or going to an appointment or doing anything. So just devote 1 hour per day was really some great advice that I think can benefit anybody, especially if you are an entrepreneur or you work in sales, or really if you want to achieve any sort of goal. Become a student and devote 1 hour per day devoted to the field that you're in, reading a blog post, and then practicing what you're reading.
That sounds like great advice. I think about those times when I have to set aside time to do just one thing, let's say, that gives me the kind of inspiration to think about some of the things I've been doing. Again, it can be something like you talk about, listening to something or reading something or finding something online to look at that oftentimes help, because we get awful busy, and all those distractions can take us away from that. In the nearly 25 years I was in sales prior to what I'm doing now as what I call as a portfolio careerist, it was I had the same experiences as you, Jim. I had a lot of guys out there that mentored me, and those are people I look back at and know oftentimes that they brought a kind of they brought a personal approach, but they also brought a lot of discipline, self-discipline to what they did on a day-to-day basis, and they stuck with it. And I think that kind of perseverance is another thing that we kind of think about. One other thing I note, you mentioned just a few minutes ago, what about networking events? Do you have much experience with that recently or in the past, and how helpful that's been to you?
There's a famous saying out there, and Peter, I'm sure you're familiar with this saying, that your network is your net worth. And I'm a total believer in getting out there. You got to hit the streets, as my sales manager likes to say, and get out there and meet people, especially if you work in real estate like I do, or do anything sales related. And when I say sales, I don't just mean software sales, inside sales, like what I used to do, but really, if you think about it, many jobs are sales. If you're a lawyer, you need clients. That's a sales job. You want them to be in your book of business. If you are an entrepreneur, you're trying to get people to use your product or to put in investment funding into you. Like it or not, you have a title of a salesperson. So if you go out, you hit the networking events, and it doesn't just have to be these happy hours at a bar where you meet a whole bunch of other folks. And I mean, those are great, and I encourage going to those, like a Chamber of Commerce type of event. But there are also opportunities to network at, let's say there's a charity event, a walkathon, or some sort of maybe charity 5K. There's always opportunities to network, bring your business cards, talk to people, connect with them, follow up on LinkedIn with a LinkedIn invitation, say, hey, it was great talking to you.
No, I think with the networking you're talking about, there was a time when, and it's not too long ago, that a good 10 years ago, when I was beginning to think about doing what I'm doing now and diversifying my employment, as I was reaching the end of one career and trying to start another, I said I was going to add 5 network contacts a week. And I would ask each of those to suggest one other. And I had a goal set for myself of doing that for 6 months to see what I could accumulate. It actually reached some significant proportions, as you can imagine, going through all those people and all those lists. It's a list I still have. And it doesn't go without saying that I think what you're talking about is just getting out and networking and trying to find the right connections is really where it's at. And I think there's no question. If people are thinking they're going to throw their resume on Monster.com or Craigslist or any other place and expect to get a phone call back without working harder for it, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and I want to add a really important point about networking is I made the mistake for many years early in my career when I would go to these networking events and try and talk to people. I would make the mistake of having that mindset of going into that networking event and thinking, okay, well, who can help me? Who do people want to talk to? They want to talk to people who bring value, who have the answer to their question, who can just be a connection. They can introduce them to somebody that they have to talk to for an important reason. I tend to like those types of people to network and meet those types of people and have them connect with them on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, and interact with them and who can I help? Who can I connect them with that can help them have that mindset? You'll love networking and you'll want to do it as much as possible.
The last portion of this, I wanted to devote a little bit to talking about things like next steps. What's next? Call to action. If you had some things that 3, 4, 5 things that you said, look at you people out there that are thinking the same way with your like-minded, like Jim is, or like me, from that perspective, what are some of the things you think you should be doing?
I have the number one tip that I give to a lot of people who ask me, what does it take to achieve my dream, or what does it take to be successful, or how can I live the life that I know I'm meant to be living? How can I get there quicker as opposed to slower or the status quo, which is not even close? So the number one tip that I give people if they want to improve their life is this. You need to have written goals. If you do not write your goals, then guess what? You will probably not remember them or do the things that you have to be doing in order to achieve those goals, or hold yourself accountable, or plain want to do them anymore, or remember them, anything. There's a special format that you must use when you're writing out your goals.
Okay.
And it has to be in this way because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between whether you're joking or kidding or whether you're being serious. And it only responds to things that are in the present tense. That's just the subconscious mind. It's 90% of your brain, and it controls most of your actions. The conscious mind is, don't play in traffic, don't touch fire. Yeah, right. That's the conscious stuff. But the subconscious mind is really what drives the engine to help you get to where you want to be. So the format you want to use is first of all, put today's date and then the word goals. So
okay,
today's date and then goals, and then number 1 through 10, and then this is how you write them. Start with I, and then the present tense, and then the goal. So my goal, I'm working in real estate, and I would like to become a real estate broker. Currently, I'm a licensed real estate salesperson because I was recently licensed. I got my license last year in practicing real estate. Within 2 years, and after I hit some milestones to show my real estate expertise, I can then study for or get my real estate broker's license. So one of the 10 goals that I write is I am a real estate broker. So what does that do when I write every morning as one of my 10 goals? I am a real estate broker. that means I'm actually training my subconscious brain to do the actions to be that real estate broker. So
that you're talking about, right?
Exactly. So I'm doing the things like doing the prospecting calls, going to networking events, learning as much real estate as possible, and listening 1 hour a day to real estate experts talking about how they became successful. A lot of stuff that we've talked about previously. Those are all the actions I'm taking because I'm training my brain, training my subconscious mind to do the actions needed to achieve that goal, which is written in the present tense to condition my subconscious mind. I am a real estate broker, and you can do this for any of your goals. So it's important to use the present tense as well as the positive tense. So don't say things like, let's say your goal was weight loss, which was probably a pretty popular goal for many people, myself included. I write one of my daily goals as, I am my ideal weight. I am my ideal weight. And so that way, I don't think I need to lose 10 pounds, because your subconscious brain doesn't respond to that type of command. It only keep it simple and in the present tense. So when you write, I am my ideal weight, then you're doing things like going for that salad instead of the cheeseburger at lunch, parking farther from wherever you have to be so that you're getting those extra steps, take the stairs instead of the elevator, going to the gym, engaging in the physical activity and eating right for the rest of your life.
You've written previous to this, writing those daily affirmations, which is so important. That's exactly what you're describing, that kind of positive approach to thinking about what your day is going to look like and following, with that kind of perseverance that you're talking about, which I think is terrific. I think you've shared a lot of great things here, Jim. Again, as I circle back or dial back to the beginning of our time here together, some of the previous conversations we've had, I think there's no question that the kinds of approaches that people need to take, they have to think more creatively what their work habits and their work life looks like. It certainly is true, it seems, that the career models and the employment models have shifted precariously and really demonstrably in the last at least 10 years, if not longer. These are some really great ideas, I think, and it comes through with your passion and the kinds of things you see for yourself in the future. I think is something that holds a great deal of promise for you. As we sort of sign off then, tell us, where can people reach you? Where are you best contacted? What are the kinds of things you'd like to leave us with in terms of that kind of information?
Absolutely. I have 2 websites that people can visit. The reason I have 2 websites is I actually have 2 separate businesses, and that's part of my having multiple careers as my career, which is the theme of your work here. But so a website that is devoted to sales training, which is a passion of mine, personal growth, another passion of mine, and entrepreneurship, which obviously is a passion of all of us. The website that I devote to writing useful articles devoted to those topics is theideahunters.net. We'll include a link to that, I'm sure, in the show notes as well. But yes. www.theideahunters.net. And if you have a real estate question and you're looking to learn more about how to be successful in real estate, whether you're buying a house, selling a house, commercial property, or you want to become a real estate agent, please visit my real estate website at www.jimkim, my name, .realtor. So www.jimkim.realtor.
Jim, thank you so much for joining us. I have the impression, and I have even, my mind is turning now as we've completed this time together to think about some of the other kinds of ideas and subtopics that I think we've raised here today to maybe revisit in the future. Because I think there's going to be a lot of people out there, and I hope it's true, that everybody feels at some point the same way that I have felt in my life, and you certainly do during yours, that there is absolutely the sky's the limit, and that there are no restrictions and no restraints that we can place on ourselves when we think about the kinds of things we can do to achieve the kinds of goals that we set ourselves towards. With all of that, Jim, thank you so much for your time and so much for your thoughts. And I look forward to touching base with you down the road, and best of luck with all the great things that you have going in your life.
Thank you so much, Peter.
What topics would you like to hear on our program? Know anyone who might serve our show's purpose as a guest contributor? Email us at breakout@ai-ltd.net or leave a voicemail at 515-978-8173. And for notes on today's program and other matters germane to our work at the John Anthony George Foundation, please visit with us at anuncommonwayforward.blogspot.com. As always, thanks for joining us. See you next time. And remember to live well, dream big, and love what you do.